Denise.
Hey, Leanne.
How
I love
you
the
doing?
glasses.
Thank you. I'm ready for the beach. I'm ready for Florida. Maybe we can
Awesome.
talk about why in a in a second. But first, we should introduce why we are appearing on
Yeah.
Senior Living Insights feeds.
Yes.
Um, Taking
Without
it
telling
over.
anybody. We took
Surprise!
over. We took over. Yeah. So we are. I'm so happy you're coming to my women's retreat that I'm running next month, or almost next month, at the beginning of January. And I just think it's so fun that we were just talking about we met up on LinkedIn. We linked up on LinkedIn and met through that, and that now that you are working with Steve Moran, one of my best friends, and in fact, he said to me last week, "Have you ever met Leanne? She'd be perfect for your retreat." And I said to him, "Steve, I introduced you to Leanne." So I had to remind him of that. But what a gift and treat to be with you and talking to you tonight.
Yeah, so for people who don't know me with the Senior Living Foresight, I'm behind the scenes. I'm managing editor of sponsored content. And Denise, of course, Denise, you want to introduce yourself? People know you. You might as
Yeah.
well say who.
I'm president of Drive, which is a company that works with organizations on recruitment and retention through organizational culture. So we're not headhunters. We help you make your organization an incredible place so that people stay working there and then want to come work there. Senior living, healthcare, and long-term care is our specialty.
Yes, and you're so good at it. And I've experienced some of your work in that realm, which is amazing. And I'm fascinated to hear how you pivoted from that, or it's not really a pivot, but it's going to be interesting to hear how you came up with the idea for this retreat.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So we're just going to take over the feed for a little bit. We're going to talk about the retreat. We're also going to talk about some tips that you have for living with soul, leading and living with soul, which is I'm intrigued by. How does one do that? And this is really women focused. And so this is, if you're a woman in the audience, this is for you. If you're a man in the audience who works with women or also wants to lead and live with soul, this is for you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, actually,
Just,
either. I've had audiences of doing presentations and audiences that obviously are men and women. So yeah, in fact,
yeah.
I did something recently, and one of the people in the audience, his wife came up to me later on that night and said, "I don't know what you did in your presentation, but my husband came back and said." Okay, this is what I'm doing when I get home, and we're doing this. And she's like, I've been trying to get him to do that for 3 years, and now he's committed to doing it. So that was really cool. So yeah, men or women could benefit from hearing some of this stuff.
Yes, and that sounds like that's a lot about what the retreat's going to be focused on is getting you in the actually doing stuff that you want to do. So let's get there. If you had to describe the retreat like if you had to sum it up really quickly, what would you say? What's the big takeaway?
Yeah, leading in a way that is aligned with your true values, leading and living, I should say, that's in line with your true values, which means less stress, less guilt, less overwhelm, and more joy and happiness. And I know that sounds kind of like, out there, and how is that possible? But it is, and I'm living proof of it. And I can't tell you how much better my life is now that I've focused on really living through my values. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to uncover each person, their particular individual values that are important to them, and then how do you align your life so you can live those values and get rid of this sort of shadow that sometimes comes with doing things for ourselves, the guilt that comes with it. And, I should be working, or I should be being a better mom, or a better friend or daughter, or whatever. To really kind of recognize how important it is to focus on you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I know you have a personal story about that. I want to pause and say this retreat in case, we're getting people interested. It's January 5th through the 7th, and it's in Key West,
Yeah.
Florida. And it's going to be amazing. Just wait
Yeah.
till you got it. But there's a link in the description if you're watching it. Go ahead and check it out. But Denise, tell us about your personal journey. You referenced the fact that life's better now. What
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah, and you asked sort of in the beginning too, like how, why this, the work that I do. And I sometimes ask myself, how did I wind up doing this? But I truly was a calling for me that I couldn't get rid of, that I had to do this. I mean, so many people would come to me and tell me sort of privately their stories or email me, or sometimes I get Facebook messages from people. Some people I don't even know that are just in groups. And they would kind of tell me what they're dealing with. And I thought, you know what, I have to share this with the world, what I've learned first for myself. And so 2 years ago, and it was just this past weekend, that was my 2 year, I call it my rebirthday, when I had a mini stroke. And was not a person that wasn't on my radar, wasn't on my to-do list. And yet here it came. And so I spent 4 days in the hospital, trying to figure out what had happened to me. And the doctor that discharged me said to me, "You're lucky that you can walk and talk as you leave this hospital." And so as I sat there, I thought, you know what? I'm never letting this happen to me again. This living with stress that, just, have to work more, have to do more, have to do for everybody else, the guilt that comes with, not doing, wanting to do something. Oh, no, I feel guilty. I have to do that for whoever it might be, my parents, my kids, whatever. And work, and I thought, I gotta stop this. I can't continue to live life, because what I learned was I'm no good to anybody if I'm not able to walk and talk. And so it was a really rude awakening for me to think about the fact that my parents could be visiting me in a nursing home. My kids could be visiting me in a nursing home because I don't have the ability to care for myself because of stress. I mean, it's ridiculous, but that's where I put myself. And so I have completely changed how I approach life because of it, because I won't ever go back there again.
That
So
is,
deep, I know, and then every time I tell it, I get teary-eyed too, but it was really dramatic for me, obviously, or
yeah,
traumatic, I should say.
a lesson hard learned, and now you've decided to share some of what you learned with everybody else. So
Yeah.
that's going to take it. Is that part of what led you to develop this retreat?
It is, I came across some work that I just was really impactful to me. And in fact, a few years ago, a small group of my friends, so there was like maybe 5, 6 of us, got together at somebody's house, and we went through this work of looking at our personal values and so forth. And it was unbelievably impactful. But I sort of dipped my toes in it, and used it, but wasn't 100% all in. And after my 2 years ago, my event that happened, I was like all in. And so and that's what I've done, and that's what I'm going to lead through for this retreat. So it's actually a facilitator that I'm getting certified myself, getting certified in, and working through this process that I've been using for years, but especially the last two, about leading and living with your values.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a. So you're getting certified in a certain thing that's helped you. So
Yeah,
you. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yep.
So,
I mean, we went through this process together a few years ago, and did it sort of on our own, but there's a whole certification process now to go through. And so that's what we're going to be using, in our time together. So it's stuff that I've lived. And this, I guess, is the official stamp of doing this work.
yeah, yeah. And the retreat is going to be 3 days.
Yeah.
And what's it? What should you expect? So you go there. Are we going to be, sitting in a classroom with some notebooks and
Yeah.
taking notes?
Not quite, not quite. We actually, we're going to be outside. It's all in tents outside, these beautiful tents, poolside, and actually the pool is next to the ocean, so it overlooks the water, and there's a beautiful marina. And yeah, I mean the resort is beautiful. Every room has a view of the water from the room and so forth. It's just incredible. The space was really important to me because the environment to get into this kind of space because I want people to have fun. I want them to enjoy themselves. But to me, the most important part is that people walk away from that feeling like they're in control of their lives, that this sense of sort of, I'm not good enough. I need to be doing more, 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 more all the time. That they take that thought and just turn it around is the most important thing to me. So it's a beautiful space to help because the environment's so important. An environment can stress us, or an environment can kind of help us tap into. Sitting in Times Square right now. I'm in a hotel in Times Square, and I can hear all the honking outside. So you want to talk about how an environment can stress you? Like it just kind of, you pull up into Times Square, and it's like, that would be the opposite of the feeling that I was going for. So the environment's really important. So we'll be sitting in a tent. There's no PowerPoint. We're gonna just be able to have group conversation. There's also gonna be a lot of one-on-one conversations, a lot of work, kind of self-reflection work. So we'll be working through questions and journaling and so forth, so that everybody leaves there with a real plan, that it's not just fun and I learned something and I saw this PowerPoint or whatever, but that we actually each leave there and say, okay, here's what I can do to make this difference. Give ourselves the permission that we need to give ourselves. And so that's the work that we're going to be doing. With
There's
some
I think,
surprises thrown in. So we got a surprise on the Wednesday night when we join. We're doing a get together, a welcome party, and we have a surprise that night. And then on Thursday morning, I have a sound healer coming to do sound therapy, which is just, I don't know if you've ever done that. Have you ever done that? Oh
no.
my gosh, it's wild. I experienced it the first time because someone said to me, "You should try doing this," and then somebody else said it, and then the meeting planner at the hotel said, "My best friend does that." And anyway, it all just, I guess, like, okay, I get the message, universe, And so I went to a session, and it was wild. I've taken probably 10 people since then, in the last probably 6 months, to experience it. She does it once a week, but she's coming to our event privately, and going to work with Thursday morning to kind of just open us all up to doing this work. And so we'll spend Thursday, that day, doing that work, and we'll end Thursday night with a sunset sail. So we have a catamaran that's taking us out for this beautiful sunset sail, and then Friday we'll continue our work together and individually, and we'll end about Friday 1 o'clock. And lots of people are staying because the hotel is really reasonable. We got a great deal. It's like less than half what the normal price is. And there's paddle boards included, and bikes, and even just events that you could do with the um, marine biologist person. So anyway, so we can spend Friday afternoon. People can do some of those things on their own, and then Friday night we'll have a dinner around the town together. So that's our time. That's kind of our agenda of resetting ourselves.
Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, if you're interested, if you're viewing this and you're like, I need to know more about that, there's a link in the description of your video here. For people, okay, let's say people who can or cannot go, either way, what is your number one tip for it? There's a phrase on your website about this retreat that really, I was like, wow. It says, for living, I think it's living according to your soul's true purpose.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
your number one tip for getting there or starting to get there?
To listen to what what to be true. And
Mhm.
so it's sort of that feeling of, if we're stressed, we're out of alignment. If we're overwhelmed, we're out of alignment. If we're angry all the time, right? Something's wrong, something's off. And so the first thing you have to do is just see it. So you have to just it's so hard for people to think even about slowing down. So I don't even want to say like slow down because people are like, I can't slow down. I can't slow down. But
Yeah.
that is doing nobody good. I mean, you could see what it did to me, and I was lucky I got out of it, right? But it's why we've got people having heart attacks and strokes and even stuff like minor stuff like migraines and so forth. But you also go home. Like I think about like I have twin boys that are 20 now, but I think about when they were little and I would come home from work when I was an administrator, and the days that I was stressed out, I was just not a good parent to them, right? I just, you can't to anybody, you can't be a good friend, a good family member, a good boss, a good coworker if you're not in a good place. You know it. I mean, I know it even now. Like if things start creeping up that I'm not at my best, I'm not at my best for anybody, right? Forget about just me. If you care about the people around you that you love, the people that you are supporting through your work, you have to think about this stuff because you are not if you are showing up stressed and overwhelmed and so forth, angry, whatever it might be, you are not showing up for anybody. And so I think just recognizing that is just unbelievably important. And it sounds so simple, but people don't do it. It's the norm. Like, how are you doing today? So busy, right? I guarantee you 99% of the people, when you ask, how are you? Busy is the answer. It's like this badge of honor, right? It's a
Yeah.
badge of honor. We seem
Yeah.
important to ourselves. We seem more important to other people that we're so busy. And it's really not, right? It's a
Yeah.
terrible thing to be just in this hamster wheel of busy. And so I want people to think intentionally about their lives. I mean, we've got a limited time on this planet to do what we can do in the world for ourselves and for others. And what a shame that we just wasted in this hamster wheel instead of saying, stop the madness. There's something that we can do about it. And it's not, I'm going to go I don't sit under a tree for 3 hours doing yoga, but I also recognize immediately when I'm out of alignment now. And I say, okay, what do I need to do to get myself back to feeling good, to feeling at a peace, to what's important to me? And that's different for everybody. Me, independence is important to me. Feeling alive is important to me. Being in awe and wonderment is important to me. Feeling secure is important to me. But I know that because I've done the work on my personal values. So I know it's important to my soul. And so when I'm not getting those things, I think about, do I need to do some volunteer work to get to that? Do I need to not pack my schedule with 20 trips this month to do that? What do I need to do to set myself? Sometimes it's small little things. Do I need to buy coffee for someone behind me in line, right? Just I got fast food yesterday, which I shouldn't have, but I did. And the guy he was a young kid. He was so sweet. And I gave him $20. But one of my values is illuminating other people. And I told him how wonderful he was. And I gave him a $20 tip. And he was so excited, right? So that's like a little thing, but it made me feel good. And it's one of my values to illuminate other people, to lift them up. And so if I'm not doing that, I know that's when I start feeling bad. So I can stop and say, okay, what can I do today to bring somebody else up? So that's a long answer to your short question. But the first thing you could do is notice it, be aware of it. And the only way that you can be aware of it is to slow down, even if that's 2 minutes in your car before you go into work, in the parking lot, take a breath, connect with yourself, right? How are you feeling? Because just tapping into that, the more you do that, and the more then decisions come to you, like this women's retreat was because I've quieted myself enough to realize I had to do this, right? I don't, it's not like, it's, not something I've done before. Do I have time to do it? No, but it's felt like such a calling. It doesn't even feel like work for me to do it, right? It feels like a blessing that I'm able to share this with other people. So slow down, like the message, and be aware of how you're feeling.
Well, and that's it's like you said, it sounds so simple, but it's like we go so fast and so steadily that I don't think we even realize what we don't realize. We don't realize we're not seeing that we have today is gone in a
Yes.
second. It's like
Yes.
figure it out now.
Yeah.
Or I mean, we all know people who have been through health stuff that we can attribute to stress, and
Yeah. Yeah.
this
Yeah, I
is
mean,
this.
even if it's not a major health thing, I think that the crisis of if I'm waking up in the morning and my first feeling is dread,
Mm,
something's wrong. That's not how you should be going through life. Your first thought in the morning
Mhm.
should not be bread. On Sunday, going into Monday, when people like are like, "Thank God it's Friday," I'm like, "There's something wrong, right? That you're showing up. That Friday is the best part of your week, and they should like, that's to me, you're missing out on 5 out of 7 days of your life every single week. Something's wrong. So, and am I advocating everyone quit your jobs, right, and go lay on a beach in Hawaii? It'd be fabulous. That's also not realistic. But how could you start sneaking in some more of these things? And that's what we're going to talk about, right? What is important to me? And then creating an actual roadmap for that to make it possible. And, like I said, for me, I look at some of my values and and then how can I sneak them in? You said the piece about, sort of just how you get tied up in the day to day. And one of my values I said was awe and wonderment. And lots of times that's things in nature. And sometimes I'll have to say, you know what? I have not, I've just been rushing through the day and I need to stop. And so I just look for something. And so sometimes it's a heart shaped rock, or sometimes it's like, okay, go look at the sunset, or go look at some flowers that are growing, or, sometimes I'm amazed by like these weeds or trees or flowers or whatever that are growing like in the cracks of like the side. Like, how do they even get there and how do they thrive there? And so, and it sounds silly, but taking that, what is it, 1 minute that is important to me on wonderment because it's one of my personal values, it allows me to tap into that more and feel more aligned. So it's not flying to Hawaii and quitting your job and laying under a tree and meditating all day. It's how do we fit this into our everyday?
Wow, that's profound because you one of your tagline for the retreat is it's time to discover your true purpose. And sometimes it feels like if I'm going to discover my true purpose, I have to go I have to go quit my job and climb Mount Everest or something. But that's your true purpose can happen right within your life, right? You just
Yeah,
have to.
yeah. And what I found is the more you're finding it in your everyday life, the more the
Mhm.
Mount Everest stuff starts happening. So you say like I'm looking for this little whatever on wonderment moment. And that might seem like a simple thing that day, but that's leading me to listening to myself, which then leads me to the next thing that leads to myself. And so all of a sudden, this big, beautiful world starts opening up. Hence my women's retreat, right? So if you would have asked me 3 years ago, I would have been like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not going to be doing that, right? And so yet I'm guided there because I've been following sort of this knowing that we all have or should have if we are able to really kind of tap into it. So that's what it's really just kind of this time is going to be about stepping back, slowing down, and we just don't have the time to do it at home usually. And so the ability to step away and kind of be immersed in it with the same kind, I mean, the people that are coming are just so fat. Like I look at the list sometimes of people that are coming and I'm blown away. They're just such smart, kind, non-judgmental, uplifting women. And I said to you before we signed on, I have no doubt you're going to pick up a lifelong best friend there because that's just the type of people that are coming. They're um, just people that we want to surround ourselves with, and even thinking about that, the people we surround ourselves is so important because it's impacting us.
Yeah, yeah. And you're saying that it's hard for us to find time for ourselves and find time to do this. I mean, it's hard for us to probably sometimes think about going on a retreat for ourselves. But you think about it's 3 days, and it could really. I mean, this is profound stuff that could affect you for the rest of your life
Yeah,
if you get
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my expectation is not like go and have a good time. My expectation for everybody is that this is life changing. That
Mm.
you walk away from this and say, "This changed my life," and that was the starting point of something new in my life. That's the low bar I'm setting for myself. Um, because I know it's going to be. If you come and you commit yourself to doing this work, there's no way that you walk out of there and don't have a profound transformation in your life that has you living the life that you're meant to lead. Once again, for not only you, but for those around you, because whatever it is, your friends, your family, your kids, they're looking at you and they're watching what you're doing and they're picking up on all this, right? Are you running around busy, stressed all the time? If you're a leader, your whole team is picking up on that. all of your staff are picking up on that vibe. I see it all the time in organizations. I mean, I go into an organization, I pretty much can walk in the front door and know if the leader's running around like a chicken with their head cut off, or if it's an organization where the person is kind of leading calmly. And so we're setting, even for staff, the example. And 3 days to me is nothing compared to the havoc that you can wreak on your organization or your family, if you aren't aligned with these things.
So true. That's so true. And women in particular, why women? Why women's retreat?
I just think that women deal with sort of a very unique set of challenges. We're thinking about our family. I hate to say it to men, but women, I mean, that's research, right? Women think about sort of the impact on their family, what they're doing, the guilt piece. You don't hear men often saying like, "Oh, I feel so guilty going back to work after a child," or feeling guilty about this. Sure, they'd want to spend more time with their kids, but it's a very sort of unique woman trait that we have this guilt on us. We have this weight of usually everybody. So our parents, our siblings, our friends. Are we doing enough for these people? It's a very unique kind of woman trait to do that. And even when we deal with imposter syndrome and so forth, many of these things are found in a much higher percentage in women than they are in men. And so for us to learn from each other, for us to support each other, is just, to me, it's going to be a gift for those few days.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing when women can get together and support each other. There's
Yeah.
a couple there that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Absolutely.
what an amazing gift this would be, though. I'm thinking about how hard. I mean, is this for? So you is it going to be a lot of people in senior living, or what kind of industries are you?
Yeah, it's a mix of people. So there's a lot of people from healthcare and senior living and long-term care, because those tend to be my people. But in addition, the cool thing is I have a whole bunch of people that are bringing like a sister, college roommate. Someone's college roommate is coming. Best friends. We have a bunch of best friend groups coming, and so in addition to people in healthcare field, we have an attorney coming. We have a physician coming. We have someone who owns a marketing company that's coming. We have a few insurance people that are coming. They're working the insurance world. So it's really kind of a nice mix of people, which to me is really exciting. It just sort of opens up that opportunity for growth for us all even more.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about how hard of a year it's been for people in many industries,
Oh
pretty
my
much.
gosh.
And if you have if you had a woman or a couple of women in your organization and you really wanted to
Yeah.
lift up, what an amazing gift this would be.
Yeah. We
And
have one organization that's sending 3 people. And yeah, which is really, really neat. And yeah, so it's just that's what I said. Can you imagine like raffling off for staff, or saying thank you to someone? The amount of first of all, the payback for that, the ROI on someone coming back and being such a better person, which makes them a better leader, is immeasurable in the company. And the fact that they would feel, I mean, how just appreciated and valued would someone feel if they were, well, you're having it done for you at your organization, right? You said to me, I can't believe I'm getting this gift, right? And
yeah,
so just to invest in somebody like that just feels so good. I hear that all the time in the other work that we do, just when people feel invested in and valued for their work. It's just incredible. And so to do that for somebody would be so neat, that's like a drop in the bucket for that person to come back better at the job that they're doing, or staying with your organization because you've done that for them, and that loyalty to your organization increases that much. So yeah, incredible gift.
yeah, it really would. And a good gift to yourself too, as we've
Oh
said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We have some people are coming through work. We have some people are coming on their own, and everybody that's coming too has also been part of. We've given 2 scholarships away for people that weren't able to attend otherwise. So we have 2 people that are getting their travel and their registration and all that gifted to them, that have had really challenging years and aren't able to come otherwise. And so that's exciting too, that we're also as a group giving back. It was supposed to be one, but you know me, I'm like a bleeding. I read these applications, so I'm like, I want to give it to everybody. So now it's two.
That's cool. That's called what is it? Living your soul's true purpose, right there.
Yeah,
So people,
it's Unlocked is the name of the retreat, Leading and Living with Soul. And yeah, so it's aligned with doing that as well, with the giving part.
well, I can't wait. I can't wait to meet
I
everybody for the the learning and the fun stuff and the sound therapy. Is that like frequencies?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yep. It's
And
crystal bowls and, which sounds really weird until you think about it. Like, when you listen to music, music can make you really excited, right? Or it can make you, like, sad and have memory. So, it's no surprise at the power of that and using that music, and there's some great Netflix stuff on, using, sound therapy and, yeah, it's just I'll tell you, it's the experiences I have had with it are just unbelievable. So, yeah,
this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of people, including
yeah,
myself.
yeah, yeah. It will be. And people say, "Well, what about next year?" I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing it next year. I'm for sure doing it this year, and I don't know if I'll be called to do it again next year or not. But it's happening this year. So,
We're
yeah.
right to go. And what a perfect timing
Yes,
because it's been a hard couple of years. So
that's sure.
thank you so much for
Yeah,
sharing all this.
great being with you.
Yeah, it's great to talk with you. And if people watching, if you're interested, there's a link in the comments or go to what's your website, Drive's website?
Cultureoutcomes.com, culture and then outcomes with an S.com. And there's a pop-up actually for the women's retreat when you sign on. So you can see it right there.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
All right.
Denise.
Thanks, Leanne. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, see you in January.
Sounds
Bye.
good. Bye.